Jets Fantasy Draft franchise. Getting into the offseason this week, we had what is arguably the greatest Super Bowl of Jets history here. Well, of the series, I'll say. I won't say of Jets history because we lost. But it went all the way down to overtime. Each team had 2 drives in overtime. And the Saints came out with the win with the field goal on their second drive. We do see some retirements to include Niles Robinson, Andrew Thompson, and the great running back Braden Patterson. Hugh Saunders retired. Kyle Brown, 1-year player, JT Jensen. Thought there was another guy. Yes, Kendrick Allison, who's a 1-year player for us. And that is it. But a great season ends in an unfortunate loss, ending our Super Bowl winning streak. Now, the streak of making it to the Super Bowl has not come to a close yet, but it's going to be a tough season, and you'll see why here in a moment. Go to the upgrade players screen. We should, Subtle should be able to be fully, he still has 99s in both except for power. So we'll go 1 there, and then, okay, he'll finally be off our upgrade screen. +1 speed. He'll actually have an opportunity to use that upgrade again as his power moves doesn't go up to 99. Could go Speed Rusher if we want. But I think Run Stopper is going to be the more important one here. He's boosted to a 99, but he is not a 99 overall any longer. He will possibly get 1 more upgrade here before the end of the season. That could get him to a true 99, but that's no guarantee. And we'll advance there. No one is significant enough to get upgraded. Let's advance to the resign week, and here's where you'll realize the predicament that we're in. With 2 players retiring, both were supposed to be signed in this offseason, so brings that final number from 16 to 12, or at least it should have. Oh, I know why. Because Hopkins and Sean Wall got signed. We only have 29 million in cap space, which is weird because we had 40 million last season. But there's only 1 player that I want to re-sign, and he wants a huge deal. I don't think free agency is really an option for you. It's going to cost me 23 million. The franchise tag has been placed, but now all these players will be hitting the open market. And it only really matters here in the front. Rodney McCune, Bernie Williams. Oh, I was about to cry. Tears were about to fall. I was like, whoa, Ben Spriggs, no. Alright, getting those 5th-year options knocked out helps us out. But Chad Knoll moving on. There's a lot of, these 3 are the biggest ones here. Moving on. Hollenbeck is also pretty significant. But we have no money. None. I'm not even worried about Cunningham. We have his replacement already on the roster. And we do need to fill both staff positions this year. I guess we're hiring Patrick Clark. No offensive or defensive coordinators. Let's go here with Roy Henkel. There's only one thing I need from you, and you've got it already. Just need to go over here and make sure that's a thing. We will actually dole out the points, but just not right this second. Let's go ahead and look at the adjust lineup screen. Just out of curiosity, Jackson, after 2 years on the bench, has maintained his X Factor. That is amazing. We will have 2 X Factor pass catchers. We're losing Holland back. Branch surprisingly did not retire, so that helps us out a bit, as we'll have Branch and Heath as our 2 and 3, but we may look elsewhere. Defensively, we're going to lose a lot of these players. Of course, we'll have Kenny locked up. That's going to help. We're going to lose 3 out of 5 X Factors, and then 1 will likely retire after this season. Alright, but that is it. Let's look at Mock Draft 3. We will have 0 free agent signings, more than likely. This is going to be a pure draft. Quentin Walton. We would have had an opportunity to sign only 1 player anyways, so that's why I'm not really too pressed on bringing Suttle back. He's still having 10 sack seasons. Although, I am curious who's out there. Other than our guys, of course. Jared Miller's a free agent, so he's not retiring either. He is the only active player that Suttle is behind. There is a possibility we don't even see the end of Suttle's career. Chip Oliver's out there. JD Hooks is available. I would like to bring him back, but we'll have to see. I mean, obviously we only have $4 million in cap, and I have a feeling he's not going to take that. Actually, it'll be a low ball, but we can throw this offer out here. Not a strong one. He has. See how many offers he has. We're the only team who's thrown him an offer. So, JD Hooks, do you want to come back? Prevent us from needing to do anything. I feel like he's going to go to the final stage at least before signing. I have a feeling he might be elsewhere. Now, when we click on the screen, we're going to look up. I don't want to get spoiled like I have the last couple years. There are new retirements. Eric Hepner has retired. That would be so scary if Suttle just randomly retired. I'd be like, no, what are you doing? Oh wow. We had gotten information on Floyd McQueen, I believe, as one of our focus players, confirming he has top 5. He's a top 5 player with D block. Shit, there's no way I got information on him. Round 1 and Tremaine Hilton, I think I did get information on him. 1 to 2. 2 to 3, okay. Obviously, we'll need to look at the team, see where we're at, but look up, no spoilers. Targeted, oh my, he's got 3 in the hunt. He's going to be going elsewhere. We're going to withdraw that offer. Look up, no spoilers. Alright. Let's go to the available board. There's gotta be some old friends we can bring back. Could bring in Will Rogers. Philip Tate is still an option, and actually that should be an intriguing one for us. Jason Riley is also out there, and I think this is going to be our next attempt at a low ball offer. He's worth more than this, but we do need money, as I'm sure he will understand. So, he has no offers at the moment. We do sign Jason Riley. Now, you may be wondering, you're losing a left outside linebacker, why are you getting a right outside linebacker? Here's why. He was a great run stopper for us. Bringing him back is going to fill a huge hole for us. Obviously, there's more retirements. Nah. Alright, you may be sitting there like, I really don't think that was the greatest move, but let's take a look at the roster, right? Okay. QB, we're good. Running back, we're good. Fullback, we need one. We'll get one in the draft. Wide receiver, we could use one in the draft, but honestly, we should be okay. Tight end, we're chilling. Left tackle, we need a backup. Left guard, we're good. Center, we'll need a backup. George Phillips will be his first year starting. Guard, we're okay. Tackle, we're good. Alright. D-line. We have Subtle and we have Farmer. Starting on opposite ends of each other. And then we got Hall. Obviously, Cortland Ferris is the backup to Subtle. That's not bad. We may need to pick up a defensive end in the draft, which is probably going to be the plan anyways. Although, not really now with Subtle remaining, but who knows. DT, we do have Oscar Rivers. I would like an upgrade there. We also have Overeem. Left outside linebacker was Caldwell. Now we have Riley back. We have these two here in the middle. And then we have no one at right outside linebacker. So you draft a right outside linebacker, but if you're not able to find one, or you get one that's not startable, you just move Caldwell or Riley to the other side, or Jimenez, and then move Riley or Caldwell to middle linebacker. Everything works out there. Not too mad with these three at the starting positions. You know, Burgess had 3 interceptions last year, and he barely got any reps, so it's not Williams, but it's a good move there. Johnny Long and Burke are going to be set up for the future. So really, you just need depth of line. Maybe a receiver, maybe a corner, linebackers, defensive end. Like, you're not in a bad position. Give me one moment. Alright. And we'll advance the week one last time, as we have no money. getting the final mock, which is going to be very important. Mock draft 5. Top 5 staying put. Round 1 dropping a little bit. Yeah, you still have showing a free safety. That doesn't even make sense. But, do want to slide in here real quick. Okay, so I was actually wrong. Left outside linebacker Lawrence Hackett can easily be our number 1 pick. Easily can be our number 1 pick. And I want information on Ladarius Robbins before I make that decision, though. Because if he's top 5 or something. But look at this man. If he's our number 1 pick, we move him to right outside with the decent coverage. He doesn't have very good finesse and power moves. So you move him to right outside linebacker. McCune's position's filled, and you have a better starter at left outside linebacker. We have Ladarius Robbins too, though. We'll definitely look to get some more information on him as long as he's not projected in that mock to go before, because I feel like he's higher than a 1 to 2. Zach Andrews is a questionable one, because do you really want more information here? Or are you kind of just good knowing the position is okay with 3 starters and then go elsewhere? But we're not going to look at scouting yet. I just wanted to see who my 3 guys were in there. We'll jump back in the mock real quick. So Ladarius something for DT. Paul McAllister. Yeah, he's not supposed to go, but Zach Andrews is supposed to go at 32, and we're not taking him in the first round. So there's if we're taking anybody, it's a DT or a left outside linebacker. Or if we find a right outside, that's like a gem or something. Let's look at the free agency recap. Where is it? Look up. Get down to quarterback. John Snowden going over to the Giants. Philip Minshew is going to the Panthers. Matt Davis has finally left the Patriots. He's going over to the Lions. Levi Branson going to the Commanders. James Hastings going to the Commanders as well. Who did the Patriots? Rayner re-signed with the Bills. Patriots picked up J.J. Peralta. I was wondering who they picked up. Jeremy Kelly there. John Brooks looks like a good running back going over there to the Colts. Hollenbeck taking his talents to the Commanders. He will be missed. Leonard Spain was available. He went over to the Titans. Chip Oliver going to the Colts. Alright, looks like maybe a Beverly replacement there for the Dolphins. Josh Hoover remains unsigned. Sanborn remains unsigned. Eddie Kramer went unsigned, so we could just bring him back. Potentially, we have no money for free agents, though. Jared Miller's going to the Panthers, where he will definitely be starting. Chad Knoll going to the Broncos. We played them in the AFC Championship game. I guess he saw something that impressed him there. Will Rogers remains unsigned, so if we don't find someone in the draft, Philip Tate, tired of being passed around, he takes over to the Patriots, where he will remain for majority of the end of this series. Of course, we bring in Jason Riley. Jared Klein remained unsigned here. We might be able to pick him up. I doubt it, but maybe. Rodney McCune following Noel over to the Broncos. Broncos getting a bit better here this year. Brian McKnight went unsigned. Bernie Williams, in typical Jets series franchise, has taken his talents to the Dolphins, a rival, where he is going to get a lot of interceptions on Corbett, because Corbett throws them like candy. J.D. Hooks follows in the footsteps of Niles Robinson. Both told me they didn't want to be on our team and went to the Seahawks. Let's look at age. Is there anybody else randomly out here? Andrew Hickman's still available and unsigned. Don't think we had anyone at the safety positions go anywhere. But let's look back at Hollenbeck will be on the Commanders for the remainder of this series, unless he gets traded. Spain will be on the Titans for the remainder of this series. Oliver will be on the Colts for the remainder of this series. Noel will be on the Broncos for the remainder of this series. Obviously, we saw Tate already. Jason Riley, just a 2-year deal with us. Klein is obviously available. McCune will be on the Broncos for the remainder of the series. Alright, what about Williams? He will be with the Dolphins for the remainder of the series, and Hooks is just a 1-year deal. Okay, because there's only 3 years left in franchise. Let's take a look at some college players now. Alright, positions of need will be the focus here. Wide receiver late. Kind of want a deep threat to fill the role that was left. And here's a really fast guy who could have some good catch in traffic, similar to Hollenbeck. Is he going to be a good player? I don't know about all that, but he is an option at that deep threat position. And he is the fastest. If I can remember what his name was. I thought he was a 3-4 guy. Was it Cole Parrish? I think it was. Yeah. Let's see. There is Kamar Kitchens, or Jamar Kitchens, not Kamar. We have for sure information on his catching. He's only 5'9". He's pretty fast still, though. His route runnings are a little bit better. That's annoying to me. Brian Honeycutt. He is not going to be nearly as fast as the other two. We'll move on there. Solomon Meyer. Again, not as fast, but not too bad. Throw him on the board. That will be, well, let's run back through the list for good catching just to see if there's any. We already have 2 physical, but I think we're going to resolve that position from there. We will need a backup left tackle. Can look at Morgan Saunders here. Not very physical, but he could have some pretty good pass blocking. With B awareness, that's not too bad. Now, you may be wondering why even look at this guy here. It's because he showed very balanced, but he's proven to be below that balance that you're seeing. There's B pass block here in Owen Curtis. A to C, B to D. Probably going to be on the lower end there, but an interesting player. Let's take a look at center now. 2 to 3, Jerry Brink. He's going to be an athlete like most centers. Great pass block and decent run blocking. He may have some injury issues. You go straight to UDFAs after that, though. There's Donald Boone. Good athlete. Not going to be a very good blocker. So maybe you go to like a guard who can kind of fill the role. B's in both blocking stats here for Randall Waynes. Not very athletic. I'd say he's definitely a pass blocker though, yeah. Let's get the right guards. Oh. Gets a bit worse over here. So definitely I think a left guard is going to be our best option. Possibly even Mike Gilmore here in a later round if he falls. Because his blocking doesn't seem that bad. I think he's actually underrated, falling to 2 to 3. We'll leave Waynes on there, even though I don't really see him as a great option. Alex Barnett, he's going to be fast. We not have very good other stats there. Of course, we do have Jerry Brink on there as well. Defensive end is also a position in need. All the 2 that are projected higher than they are going to be moving before us in the first round. And we don't really have enough on the rest of these guys. Not a huge position in need. I think your best option could be Connor White here in the left end spots. Although I'm not too sold on him with that F injury too. We'll throw him on there just in case though. Tyree Philbin is going to fall to 2 to 3 for sure, but he's really strong, not necessarily a bad move, I don't think. I think his true talent's going to be a little bit lower. Not a very good class there for DTs. Both of these guys go before us in the first round, so Ladarius Robbins would be our first next best option. Peter Haskins is intriguing as well, though. Block shedding will be a little bit lower, but he has B's at both pass rush moves. Also a little bit of intrigue here in Charles Silver. Great athlete. Good play rec. He just has to work on a few things here and there. Alright, outside linebacker, obviously Lawrence Hackett, showing to be a really exceptional player who's not projected to go before our pick. So that could be a really good move for us. Slide over to the right outside. Not seeing too many options. There's David Moulton. Has good man, allegedly, but this could be a trap here. Maybe someone to get some more information on. Do you have Dom Swain as well? Not very athletic, allegedly has good pass coverage. Emmett Carmichael. Not athletic again. I think there are some trap players there. Middle linebacker. There's a late guy here in Laron Langford. Decent athleticism, decent coverages, maybe someone you get more information on. Corner, we could use a backup. Got more info on Zach Andrews, but he'll be gone before our first, or right after our first pick. A catch, B man, F zone. Down here, what do we have? Horrible athletes, bad awareness and play rec. I think we're going to move on from that. Really honestly think we'll be good there. I think we're good with what we got to figure out our draft plan. We'll have enough good linebackers to kind of move around, fill McCune's position. Hell, we are basically already have all the players we need on our team, which makes the DT one, even though we already have round one for sure there, this becomes important because, you know, Lawrence Hackett, if he really does have good pass coverage, I see him as a right outside linebacker anyway. But he also has good block, really good block shedding, so it's like, you know, maybe he could be a bit more there. We could go Cole Parrish. We know he's the fastest linebacker in this class. Could also focus on maybe some of these D linemen, or O linemen, I mean. We already have information on these right ends. Maybe you do just throw it on the two linebacker. I think you go Moulton for sure. See if you get some information that'll be good. And then you go with either White or, no, not those two. We already have them figured out. I think you could go Charles Silver here. See if he'll be good enough. because Haskins will probably be gone before our second pick, so let's go Silver here. In case I think we have the O-line pretty figured out. We have all our starters there, whereas on the defense we don't necessarily. So, I think those are good placements there for that. Let's go ahead and advance to the next week in the draft. Let's go ahead and start the draft. We'll take a look at our board when we're in there. The Ravens lost to the Bills, pulling out that number 1 pick. Let's look at my draft board. Alright, round 1 confirmed for Ladarius Robbins. I think he might be a little more important than Lawrence Hackett, but if we're lucky, we could also pull off the Lawrence Hackett pick. We won't be trading anything here. With us picking at the end of the second round, Cole Parrish. I thought I put... we didn't put anything on Parrish. We should have. We did put information into 3 to 4 confirmed, 1 to 2 for Charles Silver. Do you pass on... Oh my goodness. A great selection here opens up options for the first overall pick. The awareness is a little, he may not be a full 1 right now. He may be like a low 1 to 2, like he may be a 2 in that, but now we do have guaranteed round 1 here, but so do we with Lawrence Hackett. Lawrence Hackett could play either side there. You have some great athleticism here, but he has that F injury you have to worry about too. So maybe you bump up the injury to C, go with the position in need here at linebacker, who has terrible rush moves but solid pass coverage, which makes a bit of sense for that right outside linebacker role. I think I've figured out my plan for the most part here. We do pick at the end of the second round, so that's where you can go out and pick up Charles Silver. And then, if Connor White slides, you might pick him up late, or you have the option of Cole Parrish sliding and picking him up. Very exciting news there with that. It does make the Moulton move a little irrelevant, and honestly, he has great coverages, but great awareness. So he might get picked later anyways, but unlikely. Unlikely to be picked up by us. Alright, now we can get moving into the draft. We have our plan established. Back-to-back years with O-lineman being taken in the first pick. And we also don't have enough information, we don't have any mock draft into the second round. So there's a chance that our defensive end, or defensive tackle that's really good also slides somehow to our pick. He is 1 to 2 though, so he should 100% be gone, but no guarantee. There's also the possibility that one of them gets taken when they weren't supposed to. It's following pretty clearly the mock draft though. I really wish I got information on that receiver though. Yep, Paul McAllister going. been. I don't think they were supposed to do that. But that does limit us in our next pick. But I think a clear pick is in order here with Lawrence Hackett. Although Ladarius Robbins is intriguing, we do have Silver later on. I think Silver is even a little more athletic. Obviously, Ladarius Robbins is the better player. There's no denying that. But you also have a clear 1-2 from LSU later on. He's going to be much less and more injury prone, a little more athletic, and just a little bit less here in some of these areas. He's not going to have the A awareness, but I think he's still going to be a good player. And we go ahead and we pick up Lawrence Hackett, a great player, 22 years old, great athlete. What's his injury rating? B injury, B zone, C man, a little less here and there, but we do have normal dev for him though, but A5 speed's really good for a linebacker. We are still going to proceed pick by pick until Ladarius Robbins goes. Zach Andrews goes as projected. That's not what I wanted to do. Now we are a long way from the pick, so I guarantee you he's going. And there he goes, Ladarius Robbins off the board there at pick 5 in the second round. So it was definitely projected to go that way, and it did. In my mind, it was projected to go that way. But it's not a problem. The problem will be as if the other Silver also goes earlier than projected. We're going to continue just going pick by pick here. We're halfway to our pick already, so that's why I'm kind of just like, whatever. Ten picks away, it looks like he's going to be available. At least in my mind, he'll be available. A lot of quarterbacks going here in the second round. You can now see us on the draft board. Gregory Peterson going. Is that the... I think that was the guy on our board. Peter Haskins goes there. Will the Broncos crush our hopes? No, they will not. So he may not be a round 1, but he's a very good player. Cole Parrish will probably end up going. Not a huge need though, so I'm really not worried about it. We could bring in Jerry Brink with our next pick as well. But Charles Silver here is going to be our pick. 22 years old out of LSU. Hidden development there on Charles Silver. Should I go pick by pick? No. Am I going to? For now. Till I get bored. Jerry Brink going there to the Ravens. I definitely saw it coming, to be honest. With him being a 2-3, it's very similar to the Ladarius Robbins thing there. You kind of know if you pass on one, the other one's going to go. Now, there is a possibility my receiver falls here, which would be really good for me, even though I have no intention of starting him unless he's crazy. There goes Moulton. Had no intention of drafting him, I don't think. with the picks that I have. I already have 5 good linebackers on the team now. Moving well. Now, I don't think my defensive end is gone yet. I don't think. So, I think that might be him there, though. No, it's not. Looks like our receiver is moving. Connor White going there. He was 2 to 3 projected. He would have been my pick if he was still available, even though I want the receiver. 1 pick. Cole Parrish goes the pick before us to the Denver Broncos. That's unfortunate. There are still a couple guys out there, and they might have some better stuff, but they weren't as speed intriguing. There's still the number 2 guy here, who honestly probably has some better catching. And there's also Solomon Meyer, who's going to be a little bit on the slower side, but has, again, some solid catching. I really wanted Parrish there, though, so that's a little unfortunate. We could go O-line, although in the 3rd round, I don't think I'm going there. So my draft plan hits a bit of a lull here, but that's okay. There are some defensive ends out there that could be picked up here. Although I really don't see it happening with these really bad projections. You gotta look at the guys who you don't have their projections and see if you're a little more intrigued in them, but we're going too low on that list now. Eric Gardner could be intriguing here. The block shedding's a little low, but he might not be too bad. DBC versus, where was he? CBD. Is Byron Dixon the pick here? That makes the most sense. Could. Let's look back at Eric Gardner. 21 years old. He's going to be less athletic. The power and finesse moves are a bit higher. But I could see Byron Dixon here. Could see that block shedding being higher. He's 6'5", 22 years old, a little more athletic, higher awareness. We're gonna go with a possible reach here in Byron Dixon. Wasn't a necessary pick, but it is the pick we are making. Give me 1 second now. Alright, let's take a look at our wide receiver board. Is our guys still available? They are. And I think this is the position where you take one of them. We still need a backup center, we still need a backup left tackle, but I'm honestly intrigued here by Jamar Kitchens. And I've looked at them both already. I think I'm going to go ahead and make the move here. 92 speed. It's going to be a backup. Not too worried about it. I think we go with the 2 line positions next. We had a couple linemen on our board. We'll see if they're still there. And they're both gone. We're not going with another wide receiver. His run blocking is going to be higher. That's an indicator that pass block is really a D. Jamie Dumaine. Yeah, no. Not a good pick there. We have a lot of information on Tyler Parsons. 6'5", solid athlete. Middle of the line in a lot of stats. That could be a good option. Look at the centers here too, though. I think possibly Brian Oble will be the last pick. We're going to go with Tyler Parsons here. Give me 1 second, y'all. And do not view the draft board. We don't need to do that yet. Get these next 2 picks in real quick. Could be a solid pick there. Brian Honeycutt's gone. I wasn't too sold on him. Solomon Meyer's still here. We might pick him up late. But I also have corner as a potential want. Looks like the center I wanted ended up going. That's alright though. There's a decent option down here in Colton Nails. Chase Dunn here as well. Corner is another position we do need to look at. Zone is his highest, so that's probably a B or it's probably a D there in his man coverage. He's a slot guy, Al Francois, 6'1". I'm not too sold on him. And again, this would just be a backup, so it's not a huge position to need. Honestly, Francois might be our best option here. Let's go pick up Al Francois. Yo, he's kind of slow. And I already know we've decided where we're going with our next user pick. There's no way he went, in my opinion. Colt Nails. Alright, we're going to get to the end of this draft, but we're not going to look at the recap until the next one. I want to hold that for a surprise. Who dey all you Bengals